Yo, what's going on, everyone? It is Wednesday, 9 p.m., and it's your boys Mike and Mish with Mission Accomplished and the Mike and Mish Show. What's up, Mike?
I'm chilling, man. How are you on this beautiful Wednesday night? It was a nice day today.
Hell yeah, dude! Mid-70s in the great state of Connecticut, which is not so great. I just say that because I live here, but it was really nice out. Great day, and it was like National Walk to School Day. So hopefully those kids got out there and did some walking today. But
You made them walk to school, right? And walk home.
No, I brought them to the morning program that I do every single day, and then I went my ass to work as normal. And I hope to God that the school brought the kids outside and enjoyed it because it was a beautiful day. What is new with you, sir?
Well, if you must ask, there's really nothing. You know what? Today was like the busiest day ever. I swear to God, I got home like an hour ago from work this morning.
Yeah, me too. I mean, like, between a busy day at work, I had to do like Monday to Friday stuff, plus first sergeant stuff, plus bring my kid to baseball and come home, dinner, all that stuff, man. It's like there's not enough hours in the day, Mike.
Yeah.
Let's do our shout out to our sponsors and get our first sponsor in here. I'll get our first guest in here real quick. All right. Sponsors, everybody. The Fighter's Friend is up next. You guys know who the Fighter's Friend is. Go to www.thefightersfriend.com. Use promo code MISH20. Get yourself some medicated vapes, some medibles, some CBD oils, some some muscle rubs, some drops, all that stuff. Help yourself sleep, anxiety. My mother-in-law is actually, I hope she don't mind me talking about this, she is fighting breast cancer right now. She's doing very well. She's going through chemo, but the chemo is kicking her ass a little bit. And I'm going to be honest. She got a little bit of the Fighter's Friend vape. She's been hitting it. It's been helping her with anxiety. Her appetite is absolute dog shit with the medication that she's on. So the vapes are helping her. I guess they're giving her the munchies, maybe. I don't know. But she seems to be very happy with the product. So she's a believer. So go to thefightersfriend.com, use promo code MISH20 and get yourself some of that shit. If you want to get big and strong like me and Chris Jensen and not so much Mike, go to Next Level Elite.
My brain is strong. Thank you very much.
You're the brains of this operation for sure. NextLevelSups.com/Mike and Mish. Use promo code MISH10 and buy all the muscle supplements you need. Clean proteins, sleep aids, brain food, test boosters, all that noise, everything you need to get jacked. And although it is not beach season, it's still okay to look good for your girl. You know what I mean? And last but not least, Massage Therafix, massagetherafix.com. Jackie Holden, best in the business. If you're a soldier or a veteran, go to www.holdenhands.com. Make an appointment with Miss Jackie Holden. Get a referral from your provider. And if you are a civilian and you want to get fixed, go see Jackie. Go to www.massagetherafix.com and make yourself an appointment. Those are our sponsors. And don't forget to go to the Mission Accomplished store, missionaccomplished.myshopify.com, and buy one of these badass shirts that me and Mike are wearing right now. Look,
brand new shit.
Look at that. Oh, shoot. Yeah. So,
looking damn dapper. Look at you. Looking goddamn fly.
All right. So before we get into business and get our guest on here, let's do a quick shout out and a quick rest in peace to a warrior that passed away the last 2 days ago. He sustained injuries from a knockout a month ago in Biloxi, Mississippi at BKFC 20. Unfortunately, he was seriously injured that night. He's been spending the last month in the hospital, and he died from complications, I believe, from pneumonia. He was on a ventilator. Justin Thornton. Do you have the picture, Mike? Can you bring up the picture? Just we'll raise our glass to a warrior who passed away doing what he loved. We'll drink that real quick, and we'll get a guy on here that is a 3-time veteran in the BKFC with a record of 2-1. He fought in the same division as Justin Thornton. Actually, fought the same guy that Justin Thornton fought. His name is Big Boy Chris Jensen, and we're going to talk to him now. What's going on, sir? How are you?
Very good, guys. Very good. Hey, Mike, he's hard on you, ain't he?
I know. Jeez, what the
No
fuck?
respect.
No respect at all. I mean, jeez, God.
Yeah, we're New Englanders. We're ball breakers, and me and him been like best buds since 2012 deployment when we went overseas together, and
Nice.
ever since we've been breaking each other's balls, even when we got
Man,
this show going.
nice. Well, thank you both of you for your service.
Thank you.
I
Thanks, Chris.
personally wasn't never in it, but my family is. My brother's still active. He's in Fort Bragg now, one of the trainers. But thank you guys.
Awesome,
Nice.
man.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you.
know,
Thank your brother for his service too for us.
a lot of stuff's happened the past 48 hours. There's a lot of there's an ant bed that's been ruffled in the bare knuckle world as far as regulations and just what happened and speculation and fingers are being pointed. But man, it's pretty weird, and it hit close to home for here on this home field. So
Yeah, so what we wanted to do, Chris, we wanted to get you on here because you have experience in the business, like you know the medical screening process, you know the contract verbiage, you've actually fought in the same division as him, you fought the same opponent as him. So before we get into all of that, what do you think about the mainstream media and the TMZs in the world plastering in the headline that bare knuckle fighter dies from strikes? Like, you know what I mean? Like TMZ said after taking multiple strikes in a bare knuckle fight. That is
Right.
absolute false. That's an absolute false statement. He took maybe 3 punches total that whole fight. It only lasted 18 seconds. And yes, he was in the hospital from injuries sustained that evening, but it wasn't multiple punches in a bare knuckle fight that took his life. I really feel that like mainstream media is painting the sport with a terrible brush right now. What are your thoughts on that?
right now it's really kind of a rocky subject to touch right now, and for TMZ or to any media to have the balls to come and criticize or to even speculate of whose fault it really was or what would happen, it's just beyond me. It's just fake news. It's just someone trying to get clout on what we fighters have to deal with on a daily basis. And to be honest, if they want to know the truth, there is full pre-fight screening done here. I know for a fact here in Florida, and they don't know these people don't compete. So if these media people haven't competed, if they don't understand combat sports, I mean, guys, it's much like combat. You're going out into a mission. There's a chance somebody's got to talk you into doing it. There's got to be a mental. It's 90% mental, making yourself go. But at the end of the day, you're making that sacrifice. What you have at risk. And fighters do that too. It's not just entertainment. It's not just Jake Paul calling somebody out. There is a chance that we could have that $1 million baby injury, and we saw that happen. So for TMZ to have an opinion about it, I would like to see the credentials of that journalist, and I'd like to see if they've ever done jiu-jitsu, if they've ever done anything, because you guys know as well as I do, you can get just as hurt in the gym as you can in the ring.
Chris, I almost threw my back out laying down next to my son, waking him up for school today. You can get hurt doing freaking anything, man.
Right.
And like you said, it is a combat sport. This is mission accomplished, where combat sports meets combat vets. When we signed the dotted line to go into the military, we knew exactly what we were getting ourselves into. So when a deployment popped up and they offered us to go, when they said you are going on this date, you are going to this location and you are going to be doing this, we didn't be like, I don't think I want to go anymore. No, we know what we signed up for. And honestly, I believe that combat sports athletes have the same mental state as military soldiers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've been a trainer I've been in combat. I've done MMA. I've been doing this for 20 years here in Tampa, Florida. I'm kind of one of the pioneers of MMA and jiu-jitsu, and we have MacDill Air Force Base here, and we used to go out and train the guys, and it's very much the same. It's the same. We're dealing with the same we're dealing with the same endorphins that we need when you go and train, and it really is similar, and it's the same similarity. And I'll stop with this. As the troubled youth that we deal with, like these little urban city kids that I have, when you get them in there training and you get them therapy, they either become fighters or they go in the military, because there's just like there's a chemical in our heads. It's the same as in a combat head that fits perfect, So yeah, there's a, you make that decision and you choose to go in there and you want to do it at the end of the day, because I know I do.
Go ahead, Mike.
Right. So Now, leading into your BKFC career, your bare knuckle career. Now, I know that you fought for Valor, right? First, and
Yeah, that
then
was
you,
awesome.
yeah, like Mike Richmond too. He also fought over there.
Yep.
And then you went to BKFC, and I'm sure there's probably some similarities between MMA and BKFC, Valor, and how they handle, getting fighters in and doing medicals and stuff like that. But specifically BKFC, because that's what we're talking about now, and that's what you're a part of, what organization you're a part of. How did they approach you for the fight? And after they approach you and you accept the fight, what type of medical evaluations and stuff do they have you go through and stuff like that?
So in the professional level of anything, so boxing or anything, normally the state you're fighting at and has a commission or athletic commission or boxing commission. Here in Florida, we're ran by the business and like agriculture, but it's a boxing commission. And when BKFC comes to Florida, they send me a name. Hey, do you want to fight Dylan Kleckler for this much, such and such money? I say yes. And at that point, BKFC really doesn't have anything to do with it. They do have a licensing director that deals with the state commission, but the state commission here in Florida is the one who's in charge at that point. BKFC is just matchmaking and setting it up, paying their insurances, and making sure their bond is whatever the boxing commission wants them to do. But the boxing commission is who regulates and oversees the pre-fight screening. So here in Florida, the way it works is if you're over 40, you have to have additional screening than you would if you were under 40. Under 40, you have to have a 3-part panel. It's called a combative trio. It's HIV, Hep A, and B. And then you have to have a retina exam, which can be done by an ophthalmologist. And in pro, you got to have at least 5 amateur fights to go pro here in Florida. But we're seeing now in BKFC, they're not making them do that. So there's obviously some loophole. But again, over 40 now, in my situation, because I'm 40 years old, I had to have an MRI, non-contrast in my brain. I had to have an EKG. I had to have a retina exam. I had to have my blood panel. And I had to have a physician actually say, yes, Chris can fight in a combat sport, and we know he can do it. And that's kind of hard to have a doctor get you. I mean, it was hard. It took me 2 times to the doctor to get it done because of my blood pressure. But in Florida, over 40, they do. So when I fought Kleckler in February, I had been screened. I had been ready. I was ready. Physically, I was 100% ready. Mentally, I just wasn't ready for that fight because I knew I was going against a stud. I knew he was dangerous, and I knew I had been sitting on the couch for a few months. So, as far as it goes in the medical screening, I think that they could pay a little bit more attention to it, and they could maybe mandate some more. But understand too, as fighters, we pay for all that. I paid for that MRI. I paid for that CAT scan. I paid for that that EKG. Also, if you get knocked out here in Florida and able to return back into the cage, you have to have a CAT scan and be cleared by that physician. So they do that as well. But it's really not that complicated. Again, you have to pay for it all. So at the end of the day, it comes out to about $2,000. So it's a big chunk of money out of the fighter's pocket. You get sponsors to cover it and all that. But I feel like they could probably possibly look at it a little more and do it like that. I do, however, feel like there's something that neglects in all the commissions, and that is probably the equipment inspection. So I put up a lot of cages here. I have a cage, so I rent it out, and I put up cages and boxing rings. And the padding on the ground of the floor makes all the difference. I've been running gyms my whole career. I've 20 years I've been in this, guys. I started out with the Gracies here in Tampa with Rob Kahn, was with him for years, and I went off of myself with the Bertos. Then I'm American Top Team, and then I go everywhere. They're all my friends. But I've been building gyms, and I broke my fingers, I broke my toes on the size of the mats. It matters. And I think that if they could regulate either the compression of the mat, or because when Justin fell, he tensed up. Mm-hmm. And his neck hit, and the blunt force is what broke the neck. I was sitting here with my family, and I looked at my family, and the first thing I said was he broke his neck. I knew it. And it was because that padding it's not big enough. And I don't, and they should probably regulate it. And that's probably my opinion on that, on what should happen. But as far as medical goes, they're pretty lean, pretty strict on it for guys over 40 here in Florida.
Is the are you saying that the BKFC mat is thinner than other rings you've been in, or is it pretty much status quo? It's like pretty much standard all the way across.
Yeah, they're all the same. I think nobody really pays enough attention to it. So even like when you buy a cage offline and they send you the mat that comes with it, it's pretty much the same stock mat that BKFC has. It's the same thing we have in our cages here. Yeah. But I feel like, but it's not a jiu-jitsu mat. It's not a Dolomir. It's not a Zebra. It's not an impact mat. It's not, it's just a canvas and a flooring mat. And I feel like that could have prevented that injury, because if there would have been a little bit of decompression when he hit the ground, possibly that neck wouldn't have broke.
He'd have been able to slide a little bit.
And it would have bounced.
Right.
Like a Dolomir or wrestling mat, you would have bounced,
Yeah, but even like the jiu-jitsu mats that I was rolling on during the pandemic, we keep this quiet, but when the gyms all closed, we brought the mats to the church, and then on the church gym floor, we connected all the mats together. They're pretty hard themselves, though. You know what I mean? Yeah. Jiu-jitsu mats are not very forgiving either. So it's like I didn't even think about the floor itself. With me, I just saw, like you said, you saw him tense up and he curled up and he fell forward, and it was a devastating fall. And I'll tell you right now, live in the arena, we watched it and we were like, holy shit, wow, that was fucking terrible. But we didn't think it was like, from where I was sitting, because I was kind of a distance back. I was actually sitting right next to a couple people chatting about the fight at the time, and it happened. So I kind of didn't see it in live action. I just thought he got knocked out. I didn't know that he had hurt his neck or anything like that. We found out the next morning that he was not feeling anything in his extremities, and we were like, holy shit, no way. So
yeah, a lot of people, like I seen that, whatever his name is, I don't know how to say it, Alan Jobin or Jubin. I've seen him make a comment about it, and he all he did was criticize Justin Thornton. All right, I want to, maybe I don't know, but is Alan Justin's coach?
I don't think so. Alan Jensen he just retired from the UFC. He's a long time UFC.
I looked him up. I wanted to know, maybe he was Justin's coach. First of all, that opinion, it offended me. All right, because Justin Thornton wanted to be in there. He wanted that fight. When that announcer announced his name and Justin stuck that Gene Simmons tongue out, that man wanted to be there. Mm-hmm. When he went after Dylan, he went forward on Dylan. I went backwards on Dylan. When he went forward for a brief second, he exposed Dylan Kleckler. As a fighter, I saw it. All right. And so for someone to point their finger and say that it's the matchmaker's fault, it was a bad match, yeah, that might be true. But at the end of the day, that man was a fighter. That man had over 20 fights. That man even wanted to be there, even if he knew what he was doing going in there. And Alan, I understand that his opinion is valuable because he's a retired UFC fighter. But if you're not his coach, who are you to tell that man that he can't fight Dylan Kleckler? If Alan Jobin would have told me in December that I couldn't fight Dylan Kleckler in February, he would have been telling my family that I wouldn't be getting this apartment that I'm living in right now. He'd be telling me that I wouldn't be able to live my dream and fight on the biggest stage in my career, win or lose. So I personally didn't like that comment, and I don't agree with it. And there are people in this sport who are not real fighters. They're just athletes. There's guys that are just athletes, that are just talented athletes, but you go and piss them off and they go run off. But then you got guys like me that I'll fight over. I'll get out of my car and fight you over road rage. You know what I mean? But my thing is that man was a fighter. He wanted to do it. I didn't know him personally. He came across my desk a few times in the years. I didn't know him, but I don't think that there should be any fingers pointed at anybody. I understand that people are going to criticize matchmaking. It's going to happen regardless. But at the end of the day, that man was a fighter. He wanted to be there. There's no one to blame him on. TMZ, go train.
Yeah,
go train. Come to my gym.
TMZ should just stay out of it, because and like like Mike and I were talking about it today, and we were talking right before, like early stages of the UFC, and we took offense of the way Dana White was speaking on the whole thing. Like Dana, like Mike said, Dana forgets where he came from, because at the beginning of MMA, they were dealing with the same criticism. People wanted it shut down. People were calling it human cockfighting, and now. For him to get asked about it, and his reaction was, "Is anybody surprised? I'm not a fan of bare knuckle. Is anybody surprised? Get the fuck out of here, Dana." You know what? It wasn't the punt. Like, it could have happened to anyone. It really could have. It could have happened to anyone. And like, for him to say that and like be like, "Oh, well, we spend $20 million on our medical team. We have the best." None that would have never happened. With, a freak act, like a 1 in a million accident where a guy's body tenses up and he lands on the top of his head, couldn't happen in a UFC cage. Are you shitting me? You sound like an asshole.
It's not the first time. And I'm also not, I know I don't have much time, but I also want to bring up this. A lot of people are sad, but also Dylan, man. Yes. Dylan is one of the nicest people. He beat the shit out of me with a body shot, which between us and everyone in this world, I went down because I knew I wasn't 100% no more. I wasn't going to take that chance. When he broke that rib, it felt like he reached in and grabbed my lung. I could have kept going, but I might have fell and broke my neck. I wasn't 100%, so it was time to go out. Dylan was a remarkable opponent, gentleman, genuine, and I think about him. And he's, another thing I want to bring up too is Bobo.
Yeah.
Bobo.
We were talking about that a few minutes ago too. 2009,
Bobo, that dude Francisco. I don't even know how to say his name, but I knew about that, and that hurts. That's traumatic. You guys, I mean, it's like losing a man next to you, a comrade, and it's your fault. Right. So I pray for Dylan and his family, and I pray that Dylan's going to be good. But man, yeah.
Let me ask you about the punch. Let's talk about the punch from Dylan. Was it the hardest punch you ever took? No, it wasn't.
No.
My
wife asked me, "Why didn't you get up?"
Really?
Yeah. I said because I want to come up here with you guys and hang out. When they called me for that fight, I hadn't fought in over a year. I had lost everything in the pandemic. I was in North Dakota. I had fought in Valor. I had my own gym. The oil prices went down. COVID hit. I lost everything. I opened my gym March 13th. COVID shutdown was March 19th up there. I lost everything. $100,000 down the toilet.
Damn.
I came here, was depressed, didn't want to do anything, was sitting around, didn't want to do nothing. We were running out of money. I got custody of my 10-year-old kid, didn't have no money. I was living in a trailer. BKFC called me, said, "You want to fight Dylan Kleckler?" I said, "How much?" They said, "Some good money." I was like 4 weeks out. I was like, done. I don't care. I don't care who it is. I don't care. I'll fight anybody right now. Why not get paid for it? Try to throw in a 4-week camp. Didn't work out too good mentally. I knew I was getting brought in there to lose. Estevan Payan messaged me, and he's like, they're bringing you in there to lose. I'm like, yeah, I know. So I trained for it. When I felt that body shot hit me, when I heard the crowd go, "Oh," I was like, I'm not getting up. I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm getting paid, and I'm getting out of here. Now,
the wise man lives
they knew
to fight another day. Yeah.
They knew I did that. They were pissed off at me a little bit, but they gave me another chance. And they started letting this dude start rapping at these tryouts.
Yeah.
And then they put me, and now I believe you, Mackerel, I thought he was going to whip my ass, to be honest with you, because he talked a good game. So that's why I went in there ham. But it wasn't shit. That body shot, I didn't even break my rib, man. I was training the next Monday. I wasn't ready for him. I will say this, if the question came today of who you want to fight ever again, I'll be honest, it's Dylan. Because I would like to train for that camp, and I would like to have good sponsors, and I got Antonio Tarver wanting to train with me and, in my neighborhood now. And I think that with a year camp and another fight, I could fight Dylan again. I would love that fight because I didn't give him my all, and I did not give it my mentally all. And it hurts me because I'm a competitor. So,
well,
but he's a bad motherfucker.
Yes, he is, man.
You know what? I want to see him in Godbeer. Godbeer is a good friend of mine. I talk to him all the time, and I want to see him in Godbeer somehow.
Do you know if Godbeer is going to be fighting on this Spartan BK?
Going on? No, he's he signed the fight. He got a fight right now because he's in camp. So he's fighting over there because I'm gonna tell you, nobody wants to pay him what he wants, you know. And Valor, I can't really say, but Valor there's stuff going on right now in the BKFC world, you know what I mean? And like it's exciting. So
Yeah.
I mean in the bare knuckle world, my bad.
Do you have a fight lined up with bare knuckle that you're inching, closer to, or are you a free agent right now? Totally.
Well, I'm always a free agent. I always sign, and the BKFC contract is kind of like if you go fight somewhere else, they have to pay you more than we did, et cetera, like all the contracts clauses. But I've always signed a one fight. I'm a greedy son of a bitch. I've been doing this 20 years. I am a promoter. I run a couple shows here. I do a lot of stuff here in Tampa. So I'm very greedy because I always stay open for opportunities. So I'm always a one fight guy. But BKFC offered me a fight the day after Kyle McElroy, like that day after. So I was like, you're kind of like, nah, let's wait. And I started getting into this media, and I've got me a little podcast, and I've also got a job now with Bare Knuckle News and Susan Sagari. So I'm going to start going to these events and covering the post fights and the stuff like that, and adding my little twist to it. But I'm probably going to look to next year, and I'm probably looking to venture out back to my boys over there, Ken and them. So I just love them guys, man. They're great.
So Susan Singari is building herself a little super team there.
Yeah.
Lorenzo Hunt and Chris Jensen. She don't have to do any work anymore. She got the big boys to take care of her.
Big boy in the juggernaut.
I hope I get to work with her some, man. I've gotten 2 interviews from Bare Knuckle News, and neither time it was with her. So I'm like, at least let me get an interview if I'm going to work with you.
Nah, she's pretty cool. She's always nice to me and Mike. Like she had never met me and Mike. And our funny Susan story is she sees the two of us and she's like, "Hey boys," and then she like notices us and she's like, "Oh, the Mission Men."
Yeah, the Mission Man.
The Mission Men. And she comes over.
She knew I was coming on tonight. We had the voice conference today, and then I told everybody, and I think I'm bringing a little bit. I'm very active. I'm very active in the MMA world. Matter of fact, I'm one of the promoters that brought Lorenzo into the fight game. I match made his first 15 fights. He was living. The guy literally lived in a hotel. I got him hotels. He'd come here and train, and he's a close friend of mine. And I think one time I was putting up a cage, and the TV host showed up to the RFC, and she was drunk. And the RFC's owner's wife was pissed. Rochelle was mad. She's like, she's not interviewing anyone. She's not going up there like that. And so Joe Valdez, the owner of the RFC, is like, well, what are we going to do? And they looked at me, and I'm setting the cage up. I'm all dirty. And he gives me a sport coat and a microphone, and he says, "Big boy, I need you to interview these fighters for this TV show, XPTV, because we pay good money for it." And I'm like, okay. And they handed me that mic, and I was like, "What's up, folks, everybody? It's Big Boy. I'm here live at the a la carte." And it was just done. It was a sold deal. And so but fighting's been my love. And now that I'm getting old and I don't want to fight, I'm starting to want to venture back into it because I have such a voice in it. I have such experience, and I feel like I can help in. I feel like I can make a difference. So
now you just spoke on Lorenzo. I don't know if you guys saw the interwebs today. Yeah, but there was some leaked there was a leaked some news that November 12th in Miami, you will finally get to see Hector Lombard fight Lorenzo Hunt.
Wow.
Yeah. That came out today. Danny Segura from MMA Junkie broke the story. It says that it's for a title that hasn't been officially announced by the BKFC, so we'll see if that's what it's up. That's what's up. But man, I'm so happy for Lorenzo because, like you said, Lorenzo, he's worked his ass off. The guy's always training, always working. He's at every one of these events. He deserves a shot at a title. Yeah, absolutely. If anybody in that company deserves a shot, it's 7-1 Lorenzo Hunt, who's interviewing people, raising money for suicide awareness, auctioning off robes to raise money. It's like he's in the crowd, like he's a company guy, and I really hope. What are your let me ask, Big Boy, I'll put you on the spot. Hector Lombard versus Lorenzo Hunt, November 12th. Who wins that fight and how?
Bro, I'm standing next to the door. When that fight goes down, my ass is standing next to the door, exit door. And then when the shit goes down, I'm out of there, buddy. I am not going to be a part of that. I know he better whip Hector's ass, because if he don't whip Hector's ass, I'm coming after. I'm going to never talk to Lorenzo again, because I'm pissed. Lorenzo deserved that the next fight. Lorenzo deserves that, Hector. And for Hector to blow him off like that and to try to beat around him and get other opponents around him, that's some shit. That's some, as they would say, shit. You know what I mean? As Lorenzo in Jacksonville and them would say. And let me tell you something about the Juggernaut. That's a thug. So you got, what I was saying a little while ago, you got a difference. You got fighters and you got athletes. The fighter is the kid whose mom and dad used to drop him off at Taekwondo every day and then go run off to Pilates and yoga. All right, that's the athlete. The fighter is the kid whose mom and dad used to tell him, you better get your ass home before them lights are on or I'm going to beat your ass. And then he'd go run around the ghetto and do whatever he had to do, play football with the neighborhood kids, go box with the neighborhood bullies, go do whatever. And then he'd come up. And then later on in life, he found jiu-jitsu and the two cross paths. You see, I don't know. I don't like Hector. I never have. I'm just not a fan. I love him as a fighter. He's a talented jiu-jitsu guy, talented fighter, but his attitude is just kind of shitty. And I just don't like how he fronted Lorenzo. And it's not that I'm Lorenzo's friend. It's just that I think that he knew Lorenzo deserved that. And I think that he just drug it out a little bit. But maybe it's a smart thing. Maybe it's a promotional thing. So I know a lot of shit's staged, but
that was not.
That was not. You know what I mean?
As a matter of fact, that night we were standing over by the stage in down in Hollywood, Florida, and Lorenzo was right to our right up on stage, and he's pacing back and forth. And Mike had the camera, and I'm like, Mike, turn the camera to Lorenzo and don't take it off of him. Just keep the camera on him.
And I did.
And there's a video of him running down the aisle and jumping from like the stage view. That was Mike's camera that got that whole thing. And then the video of Hector Lombard saying, "I'm not scared of you, motherfucker," or whatever he was yelling.
Yeah,
that was our boy Mike too that filmed all that. So I mean,
it was an exciting time for sure.
I see Lorenzo, he's evolving as a bare knuckle fighter. Hector Lombard is a great fighter. He's coming in with a great ethic, whatever you want to call it. But Lorenzo's evolving. When you see Lorenzo, when you spar with Lorenzo, he's full speed. You have to wear headgear. You have to wear protection. He's full speed, but he's learning at the same time. And I've watched him. And you see, he never puts his head behind his punches. And that's what these bare knuckle guys, just like Johnny Bedford, who's coming on tonight. Johnny's always giving that head movement. Even when he throws that punch, he's almost like a Dominic Cruz type thing.
Yeah.
And I think Lorenzo is kind of getting to the point where he's grooving, and I see a great future for him in the BKFC, and he's doing a great job. And I think Feldman and them are doing a poor job promoting him, and I think they could promote him a little better. No offense. I'm not trying. It's my opinion. Like I said, I've been a promoter. I promoted Lorenzo here in Tampa and Newport Richie and made a shitload of money off that boy. All right. I made a shitload of money off Lorenzo here in Tampa. And that was promoting him right and getting people to love him, because that he is a juggernaut. He is a warrior. I mean, even when he don't even have very good jiu-jitsu, but even when you roll with him, he's just freaking strong. So the guy is a tough fight, and I think he beats Hector Lombard, and I think he needs to prevail that Gustavo loss. You know, I think that's what needs to happen, and I think it's going to be great. So
nice.
Awesome, man. Well, we'll give you a second to shout out your podcast. Where can everybody hear it? Any sponsors, anything you got coming up? Go ahead and shout it out now, buddy.
Yeah, so I'm new to this podcast thing. I haven't really figured it out totally yet. I'm still doing it off my Instagram Live. I just recently got a shitload of TikTok followers by like some fake news video that I posted that whatever. I was getting sick of not having followers, and I figured out the math.
You played the game.
I cracked the code. I cracked their little hashtag code. And so my podcast is Big Boy Live Podcast. I have a YouTube channel. I have a TikTok, and I have an Instagram. I really don't mess with Facebook too much because I don't want to give Zuckerberg too much. But you know, my sponsors are always there for me ever since I've been fighting. No Judges Needed is a clothing line out of Tampa down here. It sponsors some huge fighters, UFC fighters, Billy Quintillo, Matt Frivola, me, myself, a lot of guys, a lot of young fighters, and they just support the young fighters around here in Tampa, and it's really awesome to do that. But I really appreciate you guys, and now I'm fans of you guys, so I'm going to be watching your podcast more often. And
Awesome.
I love what you guys are doing because I'm learning at the same time. So I want to thank you guys, man.
Yeah, we want to thank you for your insight on the whole Thornton Kleckler thing. We appreciate that, and your call on the Lorenzo fight is spot on in our eyes. And I got your autograph on my wall right there, by the way.
Nice. That's awesome. Dude.
The old Knucklemania autograph.
I got one of the Knucklemania posters, so I appreciate you. I got you and Johnny Bedford right there on the wall, nice. And I'm about to introduce him in a second. So thank you very much for coming on here. You're welcome back anytime, man. You're
thank you, man.
You're awesome guy. Take it easy.
Stand up guy. Thanks, Chris.
All right, bye. All right, man. So that was the big boy, Chris Jensen. Hopefully we see him back in a ring soon, whether it be in a BKFC ring or a Valor arena or a wherever. I'm a fan of him now. I'll tell you right now. He's a good dude, huh? Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, we got a second guest in the virtual green room right now. He was victorious at BKFC 20 in the main event against Reggie Barnett Jr. For the second time. He became the BKFC and the Police Gazette 135-pound champion. His name is Brutal Johnny Bedford. What is going on, my man?
Not much, guys. Good to talk to you again. Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
We appreciate you coming on, dude. It's good to see you. It's been a month since the event. How are you feeling? All healed up, staying busy?
All healed up. Yeah, I'm busy. Busy is a good word. Running 2 businesses, and that's had its some craziness involved with some owners and whatever, but we're always making it. We're doing really, really well. I'm this COVID thing hasn't slowed us down. I've got 2 really busy, really big gyms that are operating at full steam ahead, and that keeps me. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I apologize. I was supposed to be at 8:30 or 9:30 with y'all, and I said I might be a few minutes late because I was rushing home from the gym, and I normally don't have my kids on Wednesdays, but their mom's flying out of town early tomorrow, so I've got my kids tonight, and we made it happen.
I think you were right on time.
Well, good.
Yeah. Not late at all.
I got to hear to the Jensen. I got to hear the end of the last interview, so I was happy to be here, man. I'm just glad to be here. I'm glad I was able to make time. Yeah.
Are you familiar with Chris? Like, you friends with Chris? You know Chris?
I have met him. I don't know him personally, but I've been in the same venues as him, and always been a standard dude to me.
Matter of fact, you and him fought on the first card that Mike and I actually covered live, and that was Knucklemania this year. He fought Dylan Kleckler. You fought Dat Be Dat.
Yep.
Let's get right into that, man. You retained your title. I mean, you regained your title. You are the 2-time champ now. You look better. I mean, you seem better than ever. You told us after the fight that you made a few changes in your life, and you can you talk a little bit about the changes you made going into that fight that changed you mentally and physically and prepared you for your second fight with Reggie?
Yeah, I mean,
you don't have to go into too many details.
No, that's okay. I'm not here to shit on anyone more than it is, but a person who is very close to me. It's not hard to figure out. My boxing coach, my business partner, he was my fight manager. He's the one that kind of, I was too loyal for way too long, if I'm being honest. And, man, I sound like a dick saying this, but I let him just ride my coattails because of my loyalty. And it was always one thing after another, always one thing after another. And there's always bullshit in the way, if I'm being honest. And it was really hard to train with someone who ultimately you're their boss. I'm the majority owner of this business, and we're trying to train inside this business, and shit just didn't work, man. And we made it work, and we've reached the highest highs. We went to the UFC together. We've won a bare knuckle title together, but I was just over it, man. And his bad decisions in life over and over and over again, I couldn't just keep looking past them. And so I finally washed my hands. And the truth be told, it was the best decision I've ever made. And I probably should have made that decision years ago, and I knew that. Because for multiple reasons, what it did make me do is it made me get uncomfortable, and it made me go find a new coach, and it made me go find a new team, right? I could no longer train inside of a facility that I owned. I went and found a hungry, very well-known boxing gym here in Fort Worth. I drive 25 miles now the wrong direction of what I normally go to my business. But I do that, and I do that for a reason, right? Because now I am, one, held accountable. I'm not the boss. When that phone rings, when that toilet gets plunged, I don't look at it. I'm not there to be the owner. I'm not there to check the mail. I'm not there to listen to the phone. I'm there to train and be expected to train. And I'm surrounded by 25-year-old dudes that are just trying to do the same thing. Professional boxers, some MMA guys there. It's mostly a boxing gym. But again, it's just taking me outside of my comfort zone. I have a coach now. I have a team now that can hold me accountable. If I'm not there, like, where the hell are you? That's bullshit. You don't miss camp. We don't miss practice. We're in camp. And it's what I should have done all along. And I said that. I don't know if I told you guys that, but a month ago I said I knew a week before, I knew a month before, I knew the day of, I knew it didn't matter who's going to come across that ring for me. No one's beating me tonight. And I truly felt that way. So
so you would say that mentally you were in the best state you had been your entire career, or in a long time at least?
For sure. Like, because I didn't let bullshit get in my way, right? Like, that's the real truth, because this game's all mental, gentlemen. Fighting's all mental. You know if you're going to win or lose before you walk in that damn ring. Let's be real. Like, it's the ultimate lie. You can tell everyone how you worked hard. It's the best camp of your life. But all those runs that you missed and all those practices that you missed, all that shit will creep in the back of your mind, and that'll kill you on fight day. Yeah. That will kill you on fight day. So when I'm backstage and I know that I dotted all my I's and I crossed all my T's, dude, it's a whole different level. Like, confidence, dude, like, no one's beat me tonight. Like, it didn't matter. Like, that's how I felt, and that's how it'll be from here on out, because nothing's changing now, right? I'm still running 2 successful gyms, but you're damn right, I'm still being held accountable by a team and coaches that are pushing me to be the best that I can be, right? Not just a business owner. This is a professional fight game.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny you say that, because Chris Jensen, who was just on, he kind of spoke the same way. Like, I took the fight and I wanted to be there, but I shouldn't have been there. And he knew he wasn't ready to fight Kleckler, but he was going to do it anyways. He needed some money and he was going to do it, for whatever the reason be, I feel like a lot of people, like you said, it's mental. It's that mental game when you're going in. You see people who, last show we talked to Tom Schoaf, and when I talked to him in the hotel room, I walked up to him. I said, not in the hotel room, but in the hotel lobby. And I feel like he was just very zoned in. Some people I noticed they had a little tense to them. You talk to them, they seemed tense. They seemed like they were thinking a lot. You just didn't want to bother them. They had this kind of like this aura about them. But he was just making a coffee. He was like, hey, what's going on, man? Whatever. And I was like, this guy's got to fight later. I feel like he doesn't have a care in the world, as though he just knew where he was and what he wanted to do and what was going to happen. And he basically said, yeah, that's exactly right. And it's kind of funny, because you and Chris both said that tonight.
It's 100%. I saw Tom at the last show, and I would agree with you. His veteranism, but also he understands his game, right? The mental part of it. He doesn't make it a bigger moment than it is. It's a freaking fist fight. You can blow it out of proportion and put all these pressures on yourself. Oh my gosh, all my students from my gym are going to be watching. I have to win. That shit's going to kill you. It's stuff that you can't control. So yeah, it's a fist fight. Let's not make it a bigger moment than what it is. We don't have to get all this anxiety. If you're up shadow boxing in the mirror at 9 a.m. ready to fight, that's a problem. We got 12 hours to go till we fight. You're gonna blow your wad at 10:30 this morning. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you see the guys who one, understand the mental side of it, but two, I think that comes with being a veteran too, and that's Tom. He's been here and done this, and he knew what, he's prepared. He's ready to just go put on a performance.
You remind me, and I'm not even like, not to sound weird. You have like a demeanor to you where you almost seem unapproachable. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but like people might see you and be like, I don't really need that fucking problem. I don't really want to talk. Like you look like you're in a zone all the time. I saw you at the weigh-in. I saw you like walking around the arena. You look like you're in a zone, much like Mike Richmond. Like Mike Richmond seems like he's in his zone all the time. But like when we got to talking to you, you're like easy to talk to. You're a friendly guy, and like you could easily have a nice conversation. Mike didn't talk to me for the first 2 years we were in the military together because he looked at me and he was like, I don't need that problem. So you kind of
he looks like an asshole, the guy. He came up there. I said, that guy kind of looks like an asshole. I'm not even going to talk to him.
He's not saying that you look like an asshole, but
no,
like a lot of people when I'm walking around in uniform, they're like, oh, fucking stay away from Sergeant Mish. But if you get a conversation going with me, you're a good guy. So like I appreciated you talking to us that night, giving us the interview. And then afterwards, we hung out a little bit at the casino. And a matter of fact, Kevin Smith says that the first time he ever met you, you taught him how to play blackjack in a Biloxi casino. And he thinks you're the nicest guy he's ever met in his life. So,
yeah, it's a true story.
All that shit aside, let's talk about the fight. You went through Reggie Barnett. It was a close fight, but you won that one. Back at Knucklemania, this is what drove me crazy. That fight was so goddamn close between you and Dat that it could have gone either way. Somehow it was a unanimous decision. Not one of those judges gave it to you, which fucking blew my mind. How bad do you want that fight back? I'm sure you don't want to fight Reggie a third time. It doesn't really make sense. You've already beat him twice. Why would you want to do that? Kid Gotti's out there. There's a few other guys that are making their way up in the division, but Dat Win has a fight coming up against Luis Palomino that doesn't really make any sense to anybody. How bad do you want that fight?
Is that for sure signed?
I don't think
just him talking on Instagram like he's always doing?
I don't know, because I saw another thing on that Dat has indicated online that the fight is made. So I have no idea. Nothing ever has been announced. I can't tell you, but if that fight is made, do you agree with that fight being made? And question two, how bad do you want that?
Great question. I will answer it numerous ways. Do I think that fight should be made? Absolutely not. I think here's where this answer might get a little longer than we need to, right? But before I fought Dat Win, I was on this spiel, this rant of sorts, if you want to call it, right? That after I beat Dat, there's no one left. I've already beat Reggie. I'm not going to beat Dat. I'm huge. I'm a big guy for the weight class. I need to go to 145 to cement my legacy as the number one fighter, greatest bare knuckle boxer of all time. That was my spiel. That was my shtick, right? I lost. Like you said, we can talk about it. Close decision. It pisses me off. I think, the state it happened in. I think there's a couple things, right? But I lost. So that went out the window. But then here's Dat Win now, kind of trying to jump the ship jump whatever you want to call it, because now he's on this. I'm going to go up to 145. I'm going to do all this. Well, homie, you haven't even defended your belt yet. Like, let's not get ahead of ourselves. You got to defend this belt. I think ultimately the promotion and the world thought that a rematch with me was already warranted. You did have Reggie Barnett very vocal saying, hey, I'm 6-1. I want to fight Reggie. So the division was not done. There was no reason for Dat Win to leave. And the real truth is 145 went to shit, the weight class. Like when I was talking it, there was the Artem Lobov wasn't retired yet. Jason Knight wasn't signed to PFL yet. Jim Ehlers was talking about coming down to 45. Tyler Goodjohn was still out there. There was some names and some people to fight at just one weight class up. All four of those guys are gone. So even if I did win, me going up to 45 right now probably doesn't make sense for anyone, because there's really not a division. You know what I mean? I don't want to, shit on the guys that fight in the division, but there's no star power. There's no big name guys anymore. So I think because Dat refused to fight me, and obviously the promotion released him because he was just asking for stupid money. And well, if you don't want to fight, we'll let you go. And they somehow, Dat comes back, and I'm sorry, I'll take what you offered because I'm hungry now. Of course, he wants that money. But I think the promotion's like, well, we're not going to let you come back to 35 your first fight because you shit all over that division. So you got to fight someone of a weight class. And his big mouth might literally talk him into the Palomino fight. And I don't know how it makes sense. Maybe it sells tickets. I mean, just because you can say champion versus champion, but that's a 20-pound difference. And Palomino's a big dude. Not that I think Dat wins a fight. Size matters. I think Dat Win can make 25. I don't think he has any business fighting at 55. So I guess that was a rant. I don't even know if I answered the question.
Like, has that ever been done? Has there ever been a champ fight 2 weight classes apart from each other? You know what I mean? It happens all the time where like somebody goes up a weight class or down a weight class, but to go up 20 pounds, like you said, I feel like Luis Palomino is just too goddamn big, and he's gonna demolish him. I don't know. Maybe I'm way wrong.
And like I think that is kind of small too. Like you said, like he could probably go down. I would never imagine him going up that far too. Like, no way. It seems very, very crazy.
He's chasing those big paychecks. I have no idea whether they're going to fight Palomino. But I mean, does it make sense? I mean, I don't know that answer because who's next for Palomino at 55? So I guess you could sell it with this champ bullshit. And you know what I mean? And if you're the promotion, you get to kind of let this loudmouth who's kind of, like I said, shit on the division, ask for stupid money. You kind of let him get beat up in his first fight back. It's probably not a bad thing. But I'm going to see Dat win again because he's going to have to come to 35. It's only he's going to have to. I'm going to get that fight back, and I'm going to smoke him. It won't even be close. Like, I'm going to be completely different than what I was Knucklemania, because that guy was out there with bullshit in his head, unprepared, and honestly respected him too much, if I'm being really honest. And once I fuck this guy, 4 and 5, I started picking him apart. Like, let me just do this though. Like, I don't even know where I was in my head that fight. That was not who I am, right? I'm the guy that goes forward, move. I was timid. I was kind of not one. I don't know. I said this in my post fight when I got home. I said, I've watched the fight now, and I'm more mad at myself than I am the judges and you know what I mean, the decision. Like, because yes, I could have seen it going either way. I kind of, if I'm being honest, I gave it to him 3-2. As unbiased, I gave it to him 3-2. But that brings up my point. I wasn't even mad at the judge. I'm more mad at myself for that just shit performance than I was anything else.
I could tell you that 135 without Dat is interesting right now because you have Kid Gotti, but you also have Herrera, who just molly-whopped Velasquez in his last fight. Then you also, I don't know if they signed him, and I'm sure they did. Marcus Brimage showed up at the tryouts.
They did sign him. Yep.
So good.
They just announced that Brimage was on the same season of the Ultimate Fighter as I was.
No, yeah, okay. So that's an interesting fight. Like Brimage wouldn't be in a title fight right away, but now he's in your division. You got David Diaz, who only has 1 fight, but he makes a lot of noise, and he's got a fight coming up. You got Travis Thompson.
Couple of fights he'd be up there. He could be. Yeah,
Marcus Brimage, because the game, the sport is so young and BKFC is so young, it doesn't take more than 2 or 3 wins to get yourself right into a title talks. You know what I mean?
Right.
So Brimage could be there. Brimage could be there in 2 fights. He's got a name. He's got talent. You guys know each other. I mean, I like that division. That's one of the most interesting divisions in the BKFC.
I keep telling everyone, like, I don't know why Dad's talking and leaving. Dad needs to come down here. We're the best division in bare knuckle. 135 is the best division in bare knuckle fighting championship. period. You've got me as the champ of 6-1. You got a
Reggie.
6-2 guy in Reggie Barnett. You got 3-0 Dat win when he gets his ass down to the division he belongs in. Like you just said, we're signing guys like Gene Herrera. We've got the 4-0 Kid Gotti. I mean, the division's the best division in bare knuckle. So
Right. Yeah, I don't get why he ran from the division. I understand that he priced himself out. I can't believe he did that. I don't know. He don't look like Paige Van Zant, so he shouldn't be asking for Paige Van Zant money. I don't know what the fuck he's thinking.
you're not lying.
So with all that said, Johnny, are we gonna see you back in there before the end of the year? Are you looking to get back in there and defend your title? Are you
Feed
allowed
me,
to?
right? That's why I keep calling the promotion every day. Like, come on, feed me, talk to me,
Okay.
feed me. Yeah. If it's Kid Gotti, it's Kid Gotti. Just feed me.
There it is.
I'm in a
And
good place mentally. I want to fight, and you hit the nail on the head. We don't have a lot of time left to answer this question, but yes, I want to fight one more time in 2021, and for a couple of reasons. One, because I'm motivated. I'm hungry. I want to go. I'm in the gym. Two, obviously, my bank account likes it when I fight, so get another one of those in this year would be great. But three, because I'm kind of going to be out the first part of 2022, because I'm getting married New Year's Eve and then going to Costa Rica for a week. So I'm not going to be in training camp and fight in January. You know what I'm saying? So if I don't fight, my fiance probably is not super ecstatic about me asking to fight in December with getting married that month. I might have some stitches and black eyes and shit, but she signed up for it. She'll be all right. The paycheck will be okay, and we'll go to Costa Rica. And like I said, and then I can go to Costa Rica or go to a honeymoon and not have to worry about shit, not have to worry about getting back and getting in shape and having to fight in February or whatever else. Because if I don't fight in December, I'm probably not going to fight till March, and I don't want that shit. So I'm begging. So you guys do your part. Share this.
Absolutely.
David Feldman, feed me. That Jared Grant kid, he's got 4-0. Like, what more does he need to do? He's got a big mouth. Like, I don't even dislike the kid. If he's the number one contender, then let's make it happen. I don't give a shit who you put me in there with. Just feed me. I want to fight.
Well, Jared Grant would be. I don't know, Mike. Do you agree with me? He's the only name that makes sense right now.
Sure.
That's out of the division, and he just beat Reggie. So the only one that makes sense is Jared Grant.
He's 4-0. His last performance was very impressive. I mean, the guy barely got hit in that fight. I mean, he got hit, but I mean, even Travis Thompson will say, I mean, he really got picked apart, and he was getting the accuracy and the speed that Kid Gotti was showing in that fight was beautiful. And he was, otherwise he had his hand in some ice, which happens a lot. Other than that, I mean, the guy looked like he was ready to go next week if his hand was okay. My question to you is, what's the shortest camp that you would take? There's cards in November. So say November 6th is in New York, but like say November 12th is down in Miami. Would that be too soon? Because it's, just over a month away, or is that just enough time?
That's where I'm trying to ask for communication, right? So we don't get in these spots. If you told me November 12th, 2 weeks ago, I'd have said, let's go.
Right.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
We lost you for about 4 seconds.
My dad called, so I just ignored it. So I apologize.
Sorry about that.
Where'd we go?
You were saying would November 12th be too soon?
That's just tell me. If I'm not gonna fight this year, just tell me so I can at least know. And that's if I have any knock on bare knuckle, and I don't. Right? Like a lot of people talk shit on the promotion. It was just I think they can communicate with. Maybe I'm being an asshole, but I am the champ. I would like my phone calls returned. And it just let me know what's going on. I understand this is a business and you've got to make money and you've got to set up fights in certain locations. I get it. Just communicate with me. And that's all I'm asking, because I've been very open about I want to fight again. I want to fight this year. And obviously I can't fight in January. So let's make this shit happen. I've heard they've got a big one I think they said December 12th. Is that right? Are they going to Florida again?
Florida Keys, right? They're going to do it in the Florida Keys. So
Yep.
The Key Gotti's from Florida. Let's do it there.
Perfect. Let's do it, man. I got to tell you, man, we can't wait to see you back in there. You look great last fight. You know what? You are the first two-time champ that they've had in the organization. They need to be returning the phone calls. They need to get you a fight. Johnny Bedford, Kid Gotti in Florida, December. Let's fucking book it, man. Let's do it. And you're not being an asshole when you say that about the BKFC, because we love we love the sport. We love the promotion. The shows are great. The one thing that we have a complaint about as fans and as media, they do not release information at all. Like, we don't know what the fight cards are until a week and a half out from the card. How are we supposed to pump these cards up and get people excited to see these fights if we don't know who the hell's fighting on the damn card?
Right. How's the fighters supposed to promote themselves?
And everything else, it makes sense. How do you let these undercard fighters that no one even knows they're fighting do shows and promote? I get it. Yeah.
How do these kids get sponsors?
Right.
You know what I mean? You can't get a sponsor to pay for your camp if they don't know you're fighting. It's
Right.
just like
Correct.
that shit drives me crazy. And the fact that a champion is begging to fight and they can't get you a fight, I hope they get you a fight soon. So thank you very much for coming on here, Johnny. We got your social medias at the bottom. Go ahead, take a second, shout out whoever you want to shout out. This is your minute.
Well, I shout out, my gym, Fitness Fight Factory in Texas. We're doing really big things. All my sponsors, I'll try not to forget anybody. New Armor Renovations, E-Agent, Gulf Coast, VC Vision, who am I missing? Martinez Income Tax, Theopolis Enterprises, Coastal Development Group. I'm going back to Biloxi next week, and I got 2 Biloxi sponsors actually, so I'm going to see my guys. And then always Link Transport, always has got my back. My boxing coach at FHG, Coach Ray. I'm missing people, man, but there's a lot of people. This is a team effort to get here. My sponsors helped me out tremendously. My coaches, my students at my gym. You push me to be better. So I'm thankful for a lot of people, man. I'm blessed in this life.
Hey, are you a Dallas Cowboys fan?
I am a Dallas Cowboys hater. That's funny.
Oh, there you go. Awesome.
I didn't grow up here. So I live here now, right? But I didn't grow up here. I grew up in
Ohio,
Toledo, Ohio, right? And so we don't need to talk about, I guess I have to say it. I'm a Detroit Lions fan, so I don't really get to talk smack. But as a kid, right, the Cowboys were really good. And they were I'm like 10 years old, all they're a bunch of cheaters and they're on drugs, and Troy Aikman sucks and Emmitt Smith sucks and Barry Sanders is better. So
Michael Irvin?
They're kind of like the Yankees, right? I didn't like the Yankees either because they won too much. But then I moved to Dallas and I'm like, oh, it's even better to hate them here because everyone fucking loves them here. So I try to stab all the Cowboys fans as much as I can.
You know, growing up,
now they won this weekend, I heard. So
we're New England people. So I was born and raised all Boston sports. Red Sox, Patriots, Celtics. My secret second team growing up was the Detroit Lions because Barry Sanders, they played every Thanksgiving. And I just remember going to my aunt's house and watching the Detroit Lions play with the solid silver. They would wear the throwback uniforms, the dark blue with the gray pants and the gray helmet. And Barry Sanders would torch the league. And after what they did to Barry Sanders and Megatron, 2 of my favorite players of all time, I kind of have a sour spot in my heart for the Detroit Lions because they fucking ruined 2 guys' careers.
Horrible management.
Absolutely terrible.
Yes, I agree with you.
So I feel for you, man. Mike, you got anything for Johnny?
No, man, just thanks for coming by. We love having you on. You're always invited to come back whenever. Hopefully you can get a fight really soon before the end of the year. Let this guy get a fight before he goes on vacation, get some spending money.
That's right. That's right. Pay for my wedding.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on, and we'll talk to you soon.
I appreciate you guys. Anytime, man. Have a good night.
All right. Have a good one.
Take it easy.
Thank you. All right, that was the champ, the 2-time 135-pound champion. So that was awesome. Chris Jensen's a fucking awesome dude. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna start checking out the Big Boy podcast because he seems to know a ton. Been in the game for 20 years, promoting, running gyms, fighting, all that shit. Chris
Seems
Jensen,
honest. Like an honest guy. Like he's gonna be like, you know what? I'm gonna give you, here it is. Here's the truth.
So, Mike, do you realize that this is the 50th episode of
Mission
Accomplished?
Yeah. 50 episodes, mission accomplished. How about that? Is that the mission? Is the mission accomplished yet?
The mission's not accomplished. We're just getting started over here.
Good thing.
I noticed some people in the chat asked about the shirt that the colors we're wearing.
Colors.
Ladies and gentlemen, Megan, DJ Tony, for those who are saying, giving us shout outs on the colors of our shirt, go to the website at the bottom of the page right now, missionaccomplished.myshopify.com, and buy yourself some of this stuff, man. You can look as fly as Kyle and Mike. It's really hard to do.
Stunting like my daddy.
You could be stunting like my daddy. Is that
That's what it is.
Is that what it is? That's
now.
Cash Money Millionaires.
That's what it is now.
All right, dude. So 50th episode. We thank everybody for the support of the show. We thank the champ for coming on, Johnny Bedford. I mean, RIP to Justin Thornton. It is a combat sport. These guys sign a dotted line and they know what it says in that contract when they sign it. So it is a super sad situation. Our heart and condolences go out to his family and friends. They must be going through a fucking tough time right now. Losing anybody's tough. It is what it is. I mean, it really is. I handle death different from other people.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly believe that, I mean, I'm not a huge religious person. So, like, when it's your time, and you choose your path. And that guy truly went out doing what he loved to do.
He did.
I mean, if you
obviously he loved to fight. As far as we can see, he fought a lot, and it seemed as though he loved it. He looked like he was happy to be there. It's a very unfortunate thing to happen, but that's the way that he should be remembered, being happy, fighting, doing what he wanted to do. He had a short life, but he was trying to live it to the fullest. I don't like when people try to take it all the way over here, you know what I mean, and start pointing fingers, playing the blame game. None of that shit. I know it's going to happen. It's unfortunate that it does happen, but let's just fucking give the guy some kudos for his life and just remember him for who he was. I did not know him personally, but a lot of people did. So if you're out there talking shit, you're hurting those people. Yeah. So
and shout out. I mean, like, and your heart goes out to Dylan too, because
right,
like Chris said, Bobo went through it. A lot of people have gone through it. Like, you are in there fighting in a sport that you love, and unfortunately, the guy on the receiving end of your punches lost his life, and that's a hard fucking pill to swallow, bro. Mm-hmm. I mean, who knows? So condolences go to him as well. But there's a fight card this weekend, buddy. There's a fight card. We should just breeze over it real quick.
There is a fight card. There's some pictures.
We got some pictures
and some stuff.
BKFC Saturday night, not Friday night. They're usually on Friday nights, but this week it is on Saturday. They are in Billings, Montana. Riggs versus Gallard is in the main event. We have talked to Joe Riggs. We have talked to Melvin Gallard. Joe Riggs' connection was a little spotty with us, but he got the point across. You know what I mean? He's an all-timer. The guy's been in 70 plus fights and won 50 something of them. So anybody that's going to question Joe Riggs in this fight, I just remind you who he is. And also, you know what? Melvin Gallard's been around for 60, 70 fights himself. So
yeah,
this is two goddamn guys that have been through it and done it all. So
yeah, they've got a ton of fights combined, like an unbelievable amount.
So you know what, man? We heard that Hector Lombard and Lorenzo Hunt will be fighting soon. Maybe one of those two guys will end up fighting one of those two guys. You know what I mean? Like, You never know. All these guys are so close in weight, from 185 to 205. You could see maybe a Riggs Lombard rematch, because we all know that Riggs deserved another shot at, even though the question was, did Riggs belong in that title fight against Lombard to begin with? That's another story for another day. But you know what I mean? He was winning that fight before the doctor stopped it. So you got those two in the main event. You also have Misfit on this card, which is a long-awaited return. Christine Faria is fighting. I cannot remember her first name, but Sigaldo, who has a shit ton of professional boxing experience, but she'll be making her pro debut as a bare knuckle fighter against one of the most experienced bare knuckle fighters out there, former champion Misfit. What do you think about that one, Mike?
So I don't know what to think about this fight. You know, I'm happy that Faria's fighting, right? As everyone is, because she hasn't fought. We talked to her, or you talked to her in February, the night before we went to Knucklemania, and then we met her in person. She hasn't fought since before that.
I know. It's been way
We've
too long.
never seen her fight since we covered the sport.
It's been, I don't think it's been a year. I don't think it's been quite a year. I think it was November she fought last, right? It was like November.
It's been over a year.
It's been September 11th did she fight last year? So
it's been over
a year. So the long-awaited return of the former champion Christine Faria is on this card. She is fighting what is being said to be a super formidable fighter, but she's also fighting a debuter, and she's been very vocal about fighting people that have no bare knuckle experience. So I don't understand how the fight got made. I don't know how they talked Christine into doing it. I'm sure she's getting paid well. Good luck to Christine Faria and her opponent. We also have Taylor Starling and Randine Ekholm, Willoughby. Ekholm, Willoughby, Elkholm,
right?
Whatever you want.
Yeah. That's what they use. They're using Ekholm here, but she uses Willoughby. So.
Yeah. So Taylor Starling, fastest rising star in the company, I believe, and I'm not saying that as a bullshit fucking line. She is probably like their breakout star of the year right now. She is one half of the fight of the year. She absolutely demolished Cassie Robb in her last fight. She goes out there and she beats a longer, rangy fighter like Randine Ekholm, whose only fight and only loss is to possibly the top girl in the division right now, as far as Britton Beltran goes. Britton could be number 1 or number 2, depending on who you talk to. And if you go by the rankings committee, she's number 1. So Randine Ekholm is 0-1 in BKFC, but she fought the toughest fucking girl out there. You know what I mean? And she has a 10-inch reach advantage over Taylor. So Taylor's going to have to, I think she's going to have to rush in like she did on Cassie. She's going to have to fucking bombard her with early fucking fireworks and try to get her out of there quick like she did her last fight. Because if she stays on the outside and she can't get inside on Randine, she might have a little problem. I don't know.
She very well could. And like Randine said, the pressure's not on me. Everybody expects me to lose. I've got nothing to lose here. She has everything to lose. She's the one on the streak. She's the one with the fight of the night and the 22-second knockout, TKO. People are waiting for her to come out and do the same thing. So whether or not she's actually feeling the pressure or she's letting it get to her, maybe not, or maybe so. That's what happens when people think that they have to do something. They might get in their head. Hopefully that's not the case, and we see a great fight here. And I don't think Randine's going to be here just to be a stepping stone. So she didn't seem like it. She seemed like she was like, "Oh no way, yeah, I'm going to be there."
I'm going to ruin everybody's day. So you know what? And the last one, I don't think we need to go over the other one. Like
we got a few more. We have
our guy Watson is going to go out there and try to put on a show for us. He's a massive, powerful guy. He put up a picture of him cutting weight at 267 the other day. The guy looks like a fucking
Yeah.
house.
Two more pounds to go.
He's like 2 more pounds. Dude looks like a damn house. So I don't know much about his opponent. We had a great conversation with him the other day. I am now a fan of his. I wish him the best, and I hope he fucking shows up and makes a name for himself in the heavyweight division. I think the last one we need to talk about is good friend.
Lucas.
Oh, okay. I forgot about Tom Schoaf. I mean, Tom Schoaf and Josh Wright. I mean, Tom Schoaf is the consummate professional, the veteran of veterans, the even-keeled killer that he is. I think that he goes out there and he tries to make himself a candidate for a title shot. What do you think?
Yeah, if he goes out calm and ready, cool and collected like he did last time and pulls that fucking iced, a stone cold killer attitude, Mike Richmond style, it could be a long / quick night for Wright. But then again, there's no pressure on Wright at this point. No pressure. Right. Everyone is expecting Schoaf to win. Everyone you talk to is going to say Schoaf is going to win this fight.
Yes, sir.
Unless you're talking to Wright and his fans. And that's not a dig on Wright, but that's what happens in the fight.
It is what it is. It is what it is. Nobody really knows who he is without looking him up and checking him out. Everyone knows who Tom Schoaf is. Tom Schoaf is half the people you talk to's favorite fighter. And he's lost half his fights. You know what I mean? Like, the guy's a fucking awesome, entertaining fighter who absolutely brings it every single time he goes out there. His only losses are to killers, and they're to guys bigger than him.
Right.
So I'm glad he's back at 155. He's in the division that he belongs in. He feels comfortable in, and I think he goes out there and he gets the win, and he puts himself in line for Palomino. The last one we need to talk about is friend of our show. She's been on 3 times. Crystal Pittman is finally making her debut against Jade Mason Wong. Jade Mason Wong is the betting underdog, the Vegas betting underdog.
Yeah.
Against a person. We love Crystal on this show. She is our homegirl. But Crystal is 0-0, and nobody has ever seen her fight ever. Like, she has 7 or 8 amateur Muay Thai fights. Has any of these Vegas odds makers ever seen any of those? What are they fucking?
There's no way.
What are they basing their decision off of to make these odds?
Yeah. Minus 210 for Crystal Pittman, plus 170 for Wong.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Jade Mason Wong is what, 3-2 as a pro MMA fighter and 3-3 as an amateur MMA fighter. So this girl has, a 6-5. At least she has 11. I hate you, Mike. So, dude, I do not get how the fuck, and we, no disrespect to Crystal, because if anybody was going to tell you to throw some money on Crystal as the underdog to possibly win some money off of her, and we're just talking as friends, we don't know shit about Crystal. She looks like a killer, she's built like a killer, and she's trained by a killer. Other than that, we don't know shit about her, and neither do these Vegas odds makers.
Yeah.
So
I don't fucking understand it.
I don't fucking understand
how they come up with these odds.
How the fuck is she a minus 210 favorite over a girl that has 5 pro MMA fights and won 3 of them and looks like a pretty decent fighter? I don't understand it. I really hope that Crystal gets a win in her debut. It's a long-awaited debut. The BKFC's been pumping her up. She's been trying to get a fight for a long time. Jade Mason Wong, on the other hand, people know her. She's got, she's got that blue check on fucking Instagram, and she's got a bunch of followers. People know who she is. She's a good-looking girl, and probably half of them follow her because of that reason. They don't know shit about her fucking fight career. But either way, both of those girls are about to make a name for themselves in the bare knuckle industry. I hope they both have a great fight. I don't know, man. We're supposed to be non-biased here, but I hope our friend gets a win. I don't know.
It's been a long time coming, and we've talked to her for countless hours and stuff, but best of luck to everybody on the card. Hopefully everyone makes it out safe. This bullshit,
Yeah.
it sucks. I'm not going to bring this
Yeah.
show down again.
No.
Before we leave, though,
yeah,
we have to
yeah.
mention. I want to mention
it is
something.
true. Crystal Pittman, and you know what? And we talked to Crystal, and Crystal has been training in 4-ounce gloves the entire camp. No boxing gloves. So when she spars, she's in 4-ounce gloves or she's not wearing gloves. You know what I mean? It's like they're training for bare knuckle. And Doug the Rhino is a fucking monster. And if any of her sparring partners are anything like the Rhino, like Hank says in the fucking comments there, she's been fighting heavyweights for years. So she's been training with killers. She's got a good camp. She's got good coaches, and she's got Mike Richmond in her corner.
Yep.
Mike Richmond's making the trip out there. So her corner is going to be the Marine and the Rhino.
You know, just bringing up Mike Richmond again, I thought Fort Worth, I should ask Johnny Bedford, you know, if he's ever linked up. We got the Richmond, Bedford, Fort Worth, Rick's Cabaret tag team duo.
Has Johnny Bedford ever dropped a stack of cash in Rick's Cabaret with Mike Richmond?
Yeah.
We should have asked that damn question.
I know. I forgot. I was thinking about it earlier too.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah, you're a piece of shit, Mike.
I should have asked. But before we go, there's one thing, and Hank, stick around for this, my friend, because this happened the other night. Our boy Tom Brady came back to
his old stomping
grounds, and I have to tell you, I got a little bit choked up a little bit when they were talking about all this shit. Like, I got a little sad that night. Yeah, I'm a grown man. What the fuck are you going to do about it? You know what I mean?
I got to tell you, dude, I got to tell you that I loved the game. It wasn't a high scoring game. It wasn't like this spectacular giant scoring game between the Bucs and the Pats, but Mac Jones showed that he's the truth. I was so happy with that kid at the end of that game when they were going back and forth. Like, the poise in that kid is so calm. We've obviously put our trust in Belichick and Josh McDaniels for 2 decades now, and they made the right choice picking that kid. And the fact that Mac Jones fell to number 15 to the Patriots in the draft blows my fucking mind, because he looks like by far the best rookie quarterback out there right now, and he looks like he's the future of the franchise. And I just love that game. And think about it. 6 inches to the right in Mac Jones and the New England Patriots beat Tom Brady, the GOAT. They beat the GOAT in his return to his old stomping grounds. It
would have been a nice little handoff, like one of those moments, you know, like broke the curse type of a moment. You know what I mean? Not that there's a curse, but you know what I mean? Like the handoff, like, hey, here's Mac Jones. They took out Tom Brady when he returned as a Super Bowl champion with another team, returns to Gillette, and Mac Jones, they win when everybody thought they were going to lose. And from there on out, they start doing well. The guy's he's going to get better. He's a long-term quarterback. None of this fucking 1 year, 2 year bullshit, waste of time shit. I hate that. That drives me nuts. Letting
Cam go before the season started was the best thing they could have done. You let this kid take the reins and just run with it. If they have a 500 season, which they probably will, they might go, you know, they might win 8 games, 9 games, maybe even 10 games. Who knows? The kid's that fucking good. And you know what? Fuck yeah. It was a great game. It was a great return. The ass out hug by Belichick at the end, you know, the ass out hug, I know what you're talking about. The ass out hug, like
he's such a weird guy, man.
Yeah, Belichick gave him the ass out hug. Josh McDaniels gave him the warm embrace. You know, and you saw that meme today with Brady and Belichick whispering into each other, and Brady's like, let me get Stephon Gilmore. And he was like, and then Belichick's like, give me 2 days. Like, and then they cut Stephon Gilmore, dude. If Stephon Gilmore signs with the fucking Bucs, I'm done, dude. It's no way.
That night though, Tom Brady made it amongst a few other quarterbacks, Brett Favre, Peyton Manning, and Drew Brees by beating every single NFL team. But Drew Brees got to witness his own record being broken when Tom Brady became the all-time passing leader also. So, man, what a guy. What a guy.
Yeah.
It's too bad he's gone.
Yep.
So,
yeah, man. I love this guy, and I don't know if there's not a bad word I could say about Tom Brady. Never will. He gave us 20 great years. We all lived through the dark ages of the New England Patriots. You know what I mean? We're that age. I'm going to be 40 in a couple weeks. We lived through the shitty days of the fucking New England Patriots. So all the people that say that we're bandwagon jumpers and we're a bunch of fucking spoiled,
do you know where I live?
you spoiled piece of shit Pats fans, fuck you. That's all I got to say about that. Fuck you. And I love you, Tom Brady, because you pulled me out of the gutter. I fucking hated being a Patriot fan. I fucking hated it.
I couldn't understand for the life of me growing up why my friggin' uncle and father, like, why they would watch this shit every weekend, and they'd always be so mad. They'd be drinking and they'd be pissed off. Like, by the end of the game, that everyone would be all sad and shit, slamming things like when it was close. I was like, why are we watching this team? This team sucks. There's no better team like the Cowboys to watch right now. The 49ers aren't playing. Why are we watching this piece of shit team?
Brady brought us up, man. He took us out of the fucking dark ages, and he gave us fucking Super Bowls and great seasons and an undefeated season. And like, I just fucking can't say anything. And is there any records left, or does he have them all now? There's got to be like
save some records for the rest of us, Tom. Jeez.
Yeah, there's got to be like maybe 1 or 2 left. But anyways, man.
We had to talk a little bit of football. We're sorry. I mean, this is just the way it's got to be.
Go, Ivy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There's other sports besides people punching each other and kicking each other in the fucking face. Unfortunately,
yeah. There's ones where fucking gigantic 270-something pound men run full fucking speed into each other. It's great.
Yeah, man. It's fucking great. Anyways, man, shout out to Johnny Bedford for coming on, giving us a great interview. Shout out to Chris Jensen coming on, giving us a great interview. And thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you go to the store, buy yourself some gear. We got all kinds of nice shit now. Hoodies, t-shirts, tank tops, joggers, snapbacks, scullies, fanny packs, all
coffee mugs, fucking Camelback water bottles, and
all kinds of shit. So just go on there. You know, hook your brothers up.
Onesies.
Keep supporting the show. And guess what, dude? This is the 50th episode of Mission Accomplished, but we've already done 30 episodes of Mike and Mish on Wednesday. It's kind of the same fucking show, but you know what?
It happened to become that.
Between that and a few specials, we got to be coming up on 100 episodes between the two of us, bro. And I love everything we're doing here, and I appreciate all the support, people. With all that said, we're just rambling on now. We will let you guys go. We will talk to you next week. There is no show tomorrow night. I apologize. I have made it to a point in my military career where I have obligations to go show my face at dining inns.
Yep,
They call it a dining inn, dude. Come on. This is some snooty, dumb.
I won't be
shit.
there.
I'm not going to badmouth it, but I'm going to the senior NCO dining in tomorrow night with all the big shots from the state of Connecticut, and we'll talk to you next week. Fuck you, Hank. Peace.